We're back. We're back. Oh my goodness. All right. All right. All right. It is another brilliant and beautiful day. And here we go. Away we go. Come on. You know, this is going to be a good one. We're glad you're watching out there. We're glad you're sharing out there. We're glad you're doing all the things with us. And, you know, we want to hear what you want to hear about next. And you know who I am. That's right. Hello, everybody. I am back. It's your host, Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It is the interview series that has been coming to you for, yes, 9 years. We're going to have a big old 10-year birthday party. There's always a pinata at a 10-year-old birthday party. I'm thinking that's mandatory. So we will be celebrating with you then, and we have been celebrating with you on the journey. We bring to you industry experts from all over our beautiful globe that can help you improve your personal life. That's right. Live the best version of your life now and grow your business so that you can leave an inspiring and inspirational impact later. So live your best life now, inspire for a legacy. And today we have two not just beautiful, but gorgeous guests. We have Matt Hilliard and Karina Reeves. I'm telling you, royalty and related to Superman, I'm pretty sure. They are relationship guides and healers working with couples to create more joy. There is no such thing as too much joy. Like you can always have more joy, intimacy, and teamwork in their lives. I love this so much because I'm going to try to listen, but I am just so want to talk about my hot hunky husband of 26 years. So, all right, Matt and Karina, how did you decide you were going to be all that and more for couples out there?
I've always been obsessed with relationships.
I think I have in one way or another.
In one way or another. I remember being like 10 years old and just being like, how does this work? How do I meet people? Wait, there's like stuff and we get to like make our own house and then we get to have babies. I've always been obsessed.
Yeah, I remember wanting a girlfriend when I was 7 or 8.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't have one for a few years, but I wanted that closeness. I wanted that experience of intimacy, which wasn't a word I knew then.
Yeah. And then we had terrible marriages.
It's like this is awful.
Yeah.
I
mean, not all of it. They're good people. Yes. But at the end of the day, it was like, well, I know for me, I was like, there is stuff I don't know. And there's stuff I don't know. And I really want to know. I want a relationship that feels amazing. And so I went on a quest when my marriage ended. I was like, I'm going to find out. I took 2 years. I deep dove. I did a full year training in Neo-Tantra and sex, love, and relationships. And I started working with energy work. And I manifested this guy. I got everything aligned. I got myself ready. And if we have time, I'd love to tell you about our first date because it was utter magic. But
we'll absolutely have time. And when I met, so my husband was married 9 years and I was married 7, and our spouses left us for other people. And we met at a playground. And he had his children there, and I had my children there. And our 2 oldest children started playing together. And they were actually born on the same day, but different years. But as we were dating, one of our songs, because we have several songs, is by Savage Garden. And it's I loved you before I met you, because I did breathe him into life. I totally did manifest him. And I didn't, fascinating enough, really go through all that work. So I want to let Matt share a bit of his story, but then I want to hear your first date, and I'm totally going to tell you about ours.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I love it.
You tell me yours and I'll tell you mine.
I remember when I was still married and having my dishes in the sink, doing the dishes, and my then wife was trying to talk to me about something, and I was pissed off. But I wasn't saying why. I was just being monosyllabic, passive aggressive, which I was very good at, still can be sometimes, and just going through the motions because I didn't I didn't want to cause any conflict. I was massively conflict averse. I could sit on stuff for days, weeks, and it I could feel that I'd just carry the stress in my body. It was what I was used to. It was what I grew up with in my family home. And I worked really hard to avoid conflict.
Mm.
Jump to today. We had a little bump just before this call.
It
was tiny,
no one else would think it was a bump,
but we moved through it in minutes, seconds almost.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to do that, and I learned very direct and pragmatic ways to work through that. And I did a training. It was a year. It turned into 2 years. The second year, I became a TA at this relationship school, and I loved it because a lot of what I learned was so practical. And I was like, these are simple things that most of us don't know. We're not taught them. We're not modeled them. Nobody's telling us about them. And they make the day-to-day life so much easier. And it's the moments in the day-to-day life that create the relationship. If the day-to-day moments suck for too long, then you have a lousy relationship. Yeah. If you can turn those inevitable bumps around in minutes instead of days or weeks, then you can have a wonderful relationship.
Yeah. And it truly is the teeny tiny stuff. Like when my husband and I got together, we created out of love, not out of control or anything else, together these beautiful I'm going to call them rules because they're sacred to us. We cherish these rules about how we communicate, how we behave, actions we take, things we do, stuff that happens on the regular for us. And it has, there isn't anywhere or anyone else we would rather be spending our time with. Like, you know, not that this is a bad thing, but I know some men are desperate to get their golf clubs and head off for 5 hours on the golf course, or go work 5 hours on remodeling a car, or do whatever. And we're excited when we get our minutes together and thinking about how we're going to spend those and what are we going to do with them. And you know, and people think about, oh, empty nest syndrome. Well, we probably would be the most culture shocked for an empty nest since we've had so many.
Yeah.
And we're already excitingly planning all of the amazing things that we're going to do to continue to enjoy and love and in each other. So there's no fear of that, you know. I mean, and I guess we have so many that we're planning you know, not telling anyone where we move. We'll find you. Don't call us. We'll find you.
I love that so much, Jessica. We have that too, and it's something we teach. We call them relationship agreements. We call them our agreements, and we've written them down, and we also cherish them. And sometimes we forget, and we lovingly call each other back. Or sometimes things need to shift, or something comes up, and it's a living document that lets us rest in. I think a lot of people reinvent the wheel over and over again, and our brains love a system. And yourself and your relationship, that gift of, if something isn't working, how can we make it work better, as opposed to, why aren't you doing it how I'd like? So that shift from me to we is such a huge, honestly, systemic piece that's reflected. Relationship is a microcosm of our culture. And so our culture right now is figuring out how to be a we. And you can start if you're like not liking all of the like lone wolf individual greed, is that fair, that's out in the world right now, maybe desperation, maybe survival, look and see where that's happening in your own relationship, and you can start to see where, okay, I'm just going to dive in. One of the big pieces that we've found is how you feel in your body, and specifically how you feel in your heart. Does your heart feel armored up, protection, judgment, defensiveness? Or is your heart open, which feels like curiosity, warmth, care, love, compassion? How are you in your heart as you're relating to yourself? How do you judge or love yourself? How do you judge or love them? It will be the same as how you are in the world. And the gift is that is part of what is the cutting edge of what I believe people are learning, is that you are not a soft caramel melting on the sidewalk if you are open. You are actually calmer in your nervous system. You're actually more in your wise, aware frontal lobes. You can make better choices. You can be more aware of where your intuition is trying to lead you. And we had a client, last week or a couple of weeks ago, where there's so many lies of what having a closed heart will get you and what's required that for you to give up with an open heart, and it's not true. So the lie that was on the table was that if I'm open, then I give him everything he wants. If I'm open, then I'm always being nice. And one of the biggest shifts that gets to happen, the learning curve, if you will, of coming from an open heart, is that you get to then hold your boundaries, your desires, where, how you're working together and what you're working towards with this calm, kind, wise strength, empowerment. It's not an unkind edge to have what you'd like. It's actually the most beautiful, loving edge, because when you step over it to give him what you think he or she wants, even if it's not what you want, you are actually stepping over yourself and not being your full, honest space with him or with yourself. And that breeds resentment, not the asking for what you really want. It's been such a shift for us to allow ourselves to really ask, well, what do I really want? And that layer is always, how does it feel in my body? You probably find this with your guests about business and money too. We think we want all the money and all the clients and all the success, but at the end of having it, if it's just a box to check, as opposed to the safety that I'll feel, the calm of having more than enough, the feeling of being worthy and needed and wanted. The cool thing is that all those feelings can happen first. And that is such a more organic, intuitive, wise way to flow in business and in life.
Well, you've talked about a couple of things, and Matt, I don't know if you're just a pretty face in this show, because the two girls, I'm not sure why. I will have to give you, okay, insert Matt, because, and I'm just going to warn the audience, this is going to be a longer show than normal because he has so much to cover. And too many important things to talk about. And this is probably the one you should listen to many, many times, because you'll find something new in it that touches you as you do. So two things that I can't let go, and then we'll let Matt have a comment. One is, when you are, we'll let you say something. Don't worry.
So much. Yeah.
He knows to let me run until I like say I'm complete.
So, when there is a challenge in a relationship, there's a couple of things that have to happen. You talked about feeling how you feel in your heart, when you're having that relationship, trying to figure out what's going on with your own feeling. The first thing I think that's important to do is let the other person know, I need a minute. So I need until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Once you're, home from work and I'm home from work, we can sit down, have a cup of tea at the coffee table, or sit out on the front porch together and talk through this a little bit more. But I need to try to figure out where I am on it, and I need this much time. And I was the person on the other end who needed to know, because I had the partner that would say, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm like, what do you mean? Don't know. How can you not it's your feelings, you know? And then I need to think about it for a while. Well, what's a while? A while is a week, tomorrow, a month. A while means we'll never talk about it again until we have the next argument about it. What's a while? I need a time.
Yes,
Yeah.
preach.
Foundational skills. Yeah.
and and so we've always come up with, because he's like, I need to think about this for a bit. I'm like, great. What's
Yeah.
the date? When's our date?
Yeah.
And dates are wonderful and magical. So we call it a date. So when's our date? Because we need the time for the discussion. No, nobody wants to do that. No one wants to have the discussion. We have a date. Okay.
Oh,
We make a date because that's why I like the word puzzle. Puzzles are fun and solvable, and people
Mhm.
buy them for enjoyment. So I'd rather solve a puzzle than handle a challenge or a problem. So because nobody buys those, nobody goes out purchasing a challenge or a problem. you know, people
That's
go out and spend good money on a puzzle because they're fun and they're solvable. Anyway, so giving that other person the understanding that you need to take that time, however long it is, and that you will have this conversation to share, and to hear where they stand on it openly, with an open mind and an open heart, that gives that other person that security. Then you can sit with yourself in meditation. And I love that she's talked about really, really heavily focusing on our heart, because this is heart related. But the head, the heart, and the gut are your three brains, but they're also connected to calming yourself down. And then allow yourself to feel whatever the challenge is anywhere in your body, because maybe you'll feel it in your hand, or maybe you'll feel it in your leg. Don't judge yourself. That's okay. Maybe because in your hand, it has something to do with giving or receiving. You're not receiving help well, or you're not open to give as freely because you're concerned for some reason. Or maybe you're feeling it in your leg because there's movement involved and you have to make a huge change and you have to go somewhere. I always say, itchy palms, money is coming, itchy feet, somewhere I'm going, so you just don't know. So be open to that part. And then you talked about something else that I really want to talk about, the awareness of the body, but there was another piece that was so important. And now I've lost it. That's a sadness, but maybe it'll come back. Matt, while I think, you get a chance to talk.
So many men don't know what they're feeling. I used to be one of them. I still don't always know, but I was really cut off from the neck down. Other than sort of sexual stuff, or physical pain or exertion. And it was I remember sitting in one of my first men's circles, and we were literally naming what we were feeling. It was like being in kindergarten, like grown men, like 15 of us. I'm feeling a bit nervous, and I know that because I've got a sort of like swirling in my belly. It was that basic, and it was that necessary as well to get connected with that part of myself. It's part of I run a men's group. I've been doing the work for over almost 20 years now. So many men still need it. They need the permission, and they need the guidance. The number women have it too. The number of people we work with, where, how are you feeling? Oh, well, I was thinking that da, 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 da. No, like, what's the sensation in your body? Oh, well, I was thinking that it's like, it's a practice for those that weren't encouraged, allowed, rewarded for noticing what was happening in our physiology, in our nervous system. It's a journey. And we were talking at the beginning about joy. Joy used to scare me. It's witnessing a partner being joyful. I remember with my ex, when she was joyful, I would be a little bit suspicious and contemptuous of it. And I think beneath that was jealousy. I'll be like, she's being silly, like she's overreacting. There's internal monologue happening, and
Mm.
like that's horrible. She would
No.
probably feel that in. She would probably feel that in some way, sense that in
Mm.
some way, like my judgment. And it took me being able to have my feelings, notice them, pay attention to them, honor them, to be able to experience my own joy. And now joy is a delight. If it's my joy, if it's Karina's joy, if it's my kids' joy, like bring it on. More of that, please. It feels incredible.
Yeah.
And that process, I grew up in a house where anger wasn't allowed.
Mm.
Not allowed. It was my dad said it's a negative emotion. It serves no purpose. But I would have these feelings that they couldn't be anger because anger wasn't allowed, but like something like I couldn't name it. And naming something is so helpful. Naming something we're experiencing is so helpful. But he would be angry. He just wouldn't name it as anger and he wouldn't express it. He would just carry it and it'll be this storm cloud in the house that we couldn't name and he couldn't express. And that shit gets trapped in the body.
Mm.
And to name it, to connect with it, to give it permission. With anger, you want to express it safely and cleanly.
Mm.
To learn about that, but it's a journey for men.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just look at the logistics for a second. If a feeling is bad,
Yeah.
and you're not allowed to have it, just do a little experiment with me. This is an experiment I learned from an amazing coach, Joe Hudson. Just for a minute, we're gonna do a little experiment if you're up for it. Please, please, please do this on your end. You can do it. It's completely invisible except for your own experience. For the next 5 seconds, let's not feel any emotion at all. Just for the next 10 seconds, starting now, just don't feel any emotion. Nope, not that. Don't feel it. Nothing. No. Okay. Anyone else held their breath and typed your entire body?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did all my breath.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I did.
So there is that literally happening when you are not allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling. You are cutting off what is life force? What is chi? It is flow. It is flow. They've done studies, 90 seconds. If you don't reactivate a feeling with a brain story, it takes 90 seconds approximately to feel and finish feeling, to let it have its arc, to have a feeling and a sensation have its surge, its wave. And I believe that a huge part of what society, especially something like an English society as opposed to an Italian society, different societies had different ways of processing emotion. And I believe that for the societies that restricted emotion more, when you start, you have to maintain the dam, because the fear is that if you do start to feel, we hear this from our clients all the time, what if it never stops? And what if I lose myself? So there's this very gentle repatterning, trauma processing, kindness, love, and trust that you need to open yourself. There's a wonderful word that I love to use for this particular piece of starting to process emotions, and it's called titration. And it's that you get to choose like a camera lens how much to feel at once. You do not have to feel 100% of the sadness you've been hiding from all at once. You can feel 1%. And those little practices, just like the little moments in your day, it's like going to the gym. It's like going to the nervous system gym. It's like going to the feeling gym. It lets you learn that feelings are safe. It lets you learn that it's okay to relax your body. It lets you learn that you won't be maybe your dad like judged or resented, that you can hold yourself in that experience, and then your life force starts to flow, and then joy can come. One more thing that Joe Hudson says, I'm a bit obsessed with him right now. He says that joy is the matriarch of the family of emotions, and she will not enter a house where all her children are not welcome.
Mm. That's
So,
interesting.
isn't it?
Yeah. All right, so I have 3 comments, and then I wanna hear your first date.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? How about that? All right, and I didn't forget them. I held them firm, and I'm gonna where do I start? I did have a moment where, I guess my frustration was I have done a lot of work, and I mean, I have dug deep. I've done all kinds of therapy. I have done so much work, okay? Releasing and forgiving and all that beautiful jazz. And so when what I've recently learned is that it's okay to acknowledge when a feeling comes up because of something reminds me of something that I have worked through.
Yeah.
That so I was afraid to admit, oh, that thought made me sad because I didn't want the sadness to swallow me because it had
Yeah.
swallowed me before. But I've already done that work. And I also didn't want to admit that I was sad for that second, for that flash of a memory or a moment, even because then that means maybe I'm not healthy. And I am very healthy and I'm happy and I've done the work, damn it. Darn it. Oops. I got to be careful because what we say, but you know, I really have. And so, I think what I've learned recently was, and it's so funny, I literally imagined it. I had a moment where I was dealing with a memory, and the memory appeared in my front lawn as a giant metal monster, like, you know, big and scary and shiny silver and black. And I went out and I thanked it for you know it being here. I knew that we've had this dance before. We've met. I have the forgiveness, I have the love, and I just slowly started to take the monster apart little by little, and make it into beautiful soft flowers and release them into the air. So I'd take some scissors and cut this piece of sharp, horrible metal, and I rubbed my fingers through it and it became this velvety, you know, soft rose petal, and I was able to let it go. And one of the other things that happened to me with the feelings is, you know, not wanting to you don't want to be stuck in sadness, right? And so I would not look back at my past or my childhood because there were things that were sad there. But you know what else? There were things that were so wonderful. I have some amazing memories. So I've lately been celebrating joyfully
Yeah.
all my, and I've been writing and blogging and even making posts about them, even if there's, you know, a relationship connected to them that they're, you know, that I've had to work through and forgive and just kind of even release from my life, I'm still honoring and cherishing and valuing and celebrating and announcing the joyful part of the memories. So
Yeah.
that's one things with the feeling. And I recently did an interview with someone before you guys that we did this exercise where I had to write, I think, and here's my I think statement. I think joy is found everywhere, and then I'm growing every day, and I am one with love. And then she said, well, now write it as I feel. And then I feel joy is found everywhere. I feel I am growing every day, and I feel I am one with love. And then she said, write it as I am. And it's much shorter. It's I am joy. I am growing every day. I am love. And, you know, and so I love that you were talking about that, Matt. And the final and most important thing is when we were talking about that exercise of going and giving, you know, giving your partner warning, but then going off and being with yourself to meditate, to feel things in your body. That other thing I forgot was to also ask after you're done meditating, ask yourself and maybe even journal about, am I in love with me? And what part of this challenge or piece is me, my challenge with me? Because one of the things that happened when I started dating my husband is I had a dual love affair. I mean, it was easily a three or a foursome, because I was deepening my love with God, and I was falling madly in love with myself. And so
Yeah.
I became embraced in this deeper and deeper, more spiritual experience with God. And every day I loved myself in waves more than, almost being like washed with a giant ocean wave of love for myself. And then I get to peer up on the shore there and see this amazing man who was loving me back. And so that loving yourself can often be the friction in the relationship of, you wanting them to feel something that you really are needing to fill yourself. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
those were my three important comments before we went forward. So I
Yes.
don't usually talk this much in my interviews. I'm going to tell you, I will apologize a little bit,
Oh,
but
I love it. Love
this
it.
topic is so important to me, because
Yes.
people matter most, and relationships are my jam for sure. I absolutely adore them,
You're
and
so beautifully aware and wise. It's wonderful for us to listen. I'm picking up tips. So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
now tell us your love story, and then I'll share your mine, and then we'll talk about the different ways your customers come in, work
Yeah,
with you, and all that great wonderfulness, because
yeah.
I know everyone's going to want to know, because they're going to want all of our relationships just like ours. Or at least uniquely wonderful for them. How about that? I
Yeah,
think everything is
yes,
uniquely wonderful for everyone.
absolutely.
Yes, and this awareness that you've started with, it's part of what we got to start with too, that we'd
Yeah.
fallen in love with ourselves and we were feeling this magic in the world. I'd started meditating, and I'd had my awakening. I felt like I was in this tractor beam of love when I was meditating and connecting to this like rainbow of joy and miracles. And um, I remember I remember starting to, I go in waves of dating. I one day I'm going to have a dating program because I really love my online dating. I'm this weird unicorn who absolutely loved it. I found this like wave of like having, really honestly, anything can be a path to self-discovery. And so
Mm.
we believe that relationship is a path. We also know heavily parenting is a path. We know that business and entrepreneurship is this huge path. Anyway, so I had this little mini path of dating being a path to my self-discovery in the world. And then so I was on the socials, on the we were on
Yes.
Bumble was our
Yeah.
app, and I saw you, and you were this wonderful, I could feel the pain behind your eyes. You used that photo for a long time. And I was like, baby, I can feel the pain in your heart. But you were still so beautiful. And like, I could feel your bravery and your courage out in the world. Anyway, and then he had this adorable bio. I'm not telling the story very well. Okay. Cut to. I was so excited about this date that I stopped and did a little Facebook Live just before. And I just shared how open my heart was, how much magic was in the world, how I believed everything was working out. I was so excited. It's just a little live. And then I walked in. We went to the AGO, which is the Toronto, this gorgeous Frank Gehry building. It's the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto. And you were standing there. You looked fantastic. You dressed up because that morning I'd had pictures taken, and I'd let him know that I was going to have a full face of makeup, and I don't normally wear fake eyelashes. And he said, well, I'll do my best to like meet you there. And so we were very dressed up, very gorgeous. Yeah. And I gave you a hug right away, which you loved.
Yeah.
And I found out later that it was his very first date after his divorce.
Yeah.
I love that. Did you guys take a selfie?
We didn't.
It was it was like six, 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
we just didn't.
You did a Facebook Live though, but no selfie.
No selfie.
Go
No
figure.
selfie. It was. I was only a few months out of my marriage, and I had this vision of, playing the field, being on exploring dating after, years and years. Like, who am I now? Who am I now out there meeting people, meeting women? And I was coming towards the end of my coaching training, and I'd learned so much about myself, about relationships, my needs, my desires. And when we met, I was like, oh, feels like it's all here. I was really struck by how, I mean, I had first date nerves, but I was also struck by how calm my nervous system felt with Karina, walking around the AGO, chatting away. We chatted about some heavy stuff. And it was a way that I hadn't felt in my marriage for years. I mean, here and there, yeah, but overall, like, no, like, nervous system shot to pieces. So I had that awareness of, like, oh, I feel calm
We had so much fun
around this person, and it was and it was fun, and it, yeah, interestingly, yeah, when on Bumble. So before we met, like, doing the swiping thing.
Oh, and if you haven't done Bumble before, Bumble's special because the woman messages first. So there's this very sort of feminine forward appreciation on that app.
Yeah. And calling back to the joy thing, there was, I'd sort of connected with a number of women on the app. But there was a photo of Karina, one of Karina's photos, where she was just, like, lit up with joy, and I come, yeah. So I'd done whatever it was to show my interest in you, and some of these other women had messaged back, and I was like, this is the woman I really want to hear back from. Like, I was like, this woman is the one I want to hear back from. And it was a few days. I was like, will she ever reply? And I was so excited when you responded. I was like, oh, I think I may have even shared that. Just like, yes, like, this feels fantastic.
And then we went on and we shared and we chatted through. We had so much in common.
Yeah,
so much.
Yeah.
Even on that first date, he was already he thought about my experience. And he was aware there was this incredible installation that was by, I think, a First Nations artist. And he used found materials in organic forms. So he had, like, this crazy thing that was hockey equipment made into totem poles, but he also had a life-size whale made out of garden chairs. And Matt saw it first. It sounds bizarre, but it was breathtaking. He saw it first.
It was like in this other room. I could see through the doorway into this other gallery, and this massive thing hanging suspended from the ceiling. I was like, that's incredible.
But I was turned away. I hadn't seen it yet. And he waited for me to turn, and then waited to see what my face would do. And he enjoyed watching me get to be struck with the wonder and the beauty of this installation, and it just kept on going from there. And then the second part of the date was our Roman holiday, because he had driven to the AGO on a scooter, and then we got to scoot around Toronto in this hot summer night. I was wearing this really cute dress, and he was wearing this, like, fancy white outfit, and my hair was blowing, and we just scooted around and got a drink later, and then he scooted me home and gave me a very passionate kiss, and we had plans to see each other again eventually. At some point there was some traveling to England in a way, but
some travel logistics.
And I told him later, for me, I fell in love with him that night. I knew I wanted more. I knew I loved being with him. I knew that my heart felt open, and I felt like I could be fully myself, and it felt so good. So good.
Yeah.
Took him a little longer. He was still a bit shell-shocked. It's okay.
Yeah, I had a few things to
sort out.
to navigate before I could fully land, but it was, yeah, it was so that initial impression of the connection and the calm and
The
the like,
allowance.
the allowance,
Yeah.
the permission, like all things that I knew I wanted and had a felt sense of by that time existed here. Not only existed here, but we both had some tools and approaches, whether it was individually or together, to kind of get back to those places when stuff came up.
I love that. That's a beautiful story. So how many years together have you been?
6 and a bit. Yeah, 6.5.
6. So when you're at your 50th, you'll be able to have this video of you guys sharing your love story.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, this is legacy. I love that
Yeah.
when in the moment we're creating the legacy and the story of our lives. So so you want to hear my
Yes,
love
please.
to.
my love story? So I had been married, like I said, 7. He had been married 9. He had been divorced 3 years and hadn't dated anyone. And I had been divorced a year, and I had a 6-month-old baby because it was I was only a few weeks pregnant when he moved in with someone, and based on the laws, it was a very fast divorce, and so, you know, it just moved quickly. So I had divorced a year. I had a little baby and 3 toddlers. So I had 4 children, and he had 2 daughters from his first marriage that were a bit older. And at that point, I had gone on a few dinner dates, but I wouldn't let them meet my children. I wasn't really interested in finding someone, and I kind of decided in my mind that I knew I wanted love in my life, but and I didn't want to be alone. It's not really my personality, but I thought, well, when they're in high school, right now, had started going back to a community college. I was living with my parents. I was working on getting a home for us. I thought by the time they're in high school, then I could give myself permission to really maybe look for someone. This was my plan. But I have this gaping, painful, horrid, like I felt like someone had shot a physical hole through me. There was so much burning pain. And my parents, I was raised very religious. I'm very spiritual now, and I still have appreciation for some, you know, tradition and pieces of religion, and respect lots of people's religions and all that jazz. But there was this image of Jesus, who's still a very big part of my life. I love him still. But he had this flowing, glowing thing coming literally from his heart. There's a name for this image. I forget, my merciful heart or something, maybe. If I messed it up, don't judge me. I'm still a good person out there, anyone watching. Only nice comments in the comment bar. But anyway, all I kept saying is, you know, I don't really want a relationship, but I need you to fill this up. And I know only you can fill it up. Just fill this up. And so I was literally going to against my parents' better wishes. And I knew every church in a driving distance. Really didn't matter what denomination it was. Could be, it was, I mean, Catholic, Baptist, it didn't matter. As long as it was, you know, they believed mostly the whole, you know, God thing. I wasn't going anywhere that was believing in downstairs, but I didn't really care. I just needed this every day. I needed to go somewhere. And I knew the schedule. I was like, not a bar hopper. I was a church hopper.
You were a church hopper.
I was the way I was breathing. So I didn't do drugs. I didn't go drinking. I didn't, you know, I couldn't let myself fall apart. I had too many little people who counted on me. I had to get my act together, had to keep my head in the game. So I was like, okay. So I had gone to 8:00 church that morning, and the reading was when the woman is in the crowd and hemorrhaging, and she reaches and pushes through and just touches the cloak of Jesus. And he knows right away the energy, and he turns and says, you know, she's healed like right away from this hemorrhaging. And then, you know, he says, who touched me? And that was the reading during the service. And I did my normal thing. I sat in the back of the church, cried and bawled my eyes out, allowed myself to like totally, that's what every church, I would sit in the back of the room, bawl my eyes out, go through the process. And I don't believe in, magical statues or anything like that, but there was a statue of Jesus in that church, and on my way by, I did touch it. And then I sucked up my tears and got myself put back together and went to go take care of my children and do the things I had to do with my kids that day, including going to the playground. And the moment I saw him get out of his very old brown broken down truck and walk across, he's a licensed general contractor. And he walked across the back half of the playground. I'm sitting in the sandbox with, a couple of my toddlers. My older one is playing on a swing thing nearby, and I'm making sandcastles and talking to the kids. And he walked by, and my stomach did a flip. And like I said, I had gone on a few dates, and I was, I wasn't, steady with anyone. There's a couple of people that were taking me out here and there, just not often, because I had too much to focus on with kids. And so I sat there for a very long time thinking, okay, first of all, I have never approached a guy, okay, ever. I have all these kids. I've got my hair in a wapadoo pigtail and a black t-shirt and jeans on. I've got a 6-month-old and a car seat carrier on my arm. Like, what the heck are you gonna do, right?
Hey, baby!
Exactly.
And you hadn't seen him before at this place?
Never seen him before, ever in my life. He's pushing his kids on a big tire swing thing. What I didn't know is he had fallen when he was pushing them and hit the back of his head on a piece of the wood edging the playground. And he said he actually had a concussion the day he met me, which explains But at one point he had walked towards a slide that was like halfway to where I was. So I walked over to him, and because actually first what happened was I walked over to our 2 oldest children, because they were stuck on this like sliding toy that they were trying to play together. The 2 oldest that I mentioned, that my oldest and his oldest, born the same day, but different years, because they're much different in age. But because he's 11 years older than me. And I had chatted with them. And that is how I figured out, though, in that conversation, she's like, yeah, we're here with our real dad. My mom lives here with my stepdad. And I thought, okay, so maybe he's possibly available, because I don't go around talking to men with their children, trying to home wreck anyone either. Let's not get the wrong idea. But it came up very naturally in the conversation somehow as I'm helping them. And so I did walk over to him and I said, I was chatting with your daughter. They were playing with my son, and and I asked if he was seeing anyone, and he said no. And I said, well, what about exchanging numbers and having dinner? And I probably could have vomited on his shoes at that point. But I had decided that in the sandbox, that if I didn't say something to him, because the electricity was so palpable, I literally felt myself vibrating, and I knew that I would wonder my entire life, and I could not live with wondering for my entire life. So we exchanged numbers, and that was it. We had a few phone calls. We went to dinner. He brought me a peach orangish rose, a single rose. And what I didn't know was 2 weeks prior to seeing me, he had gone up into the mountains and hiking with his dog, and he had cried out to God and given him a list of things that he wanted in a partner, a very specific list. Because like I said, he hadn't dated a soul. He's very shy. He didn't know, it had been 3 years. That's a long time to, and so anyway, we're sitting at dinner, and I mean, we talk about everything. We hold hands across the table, and till the restaurant's like empty and they're going to close us down because we're talking forever. And he leans in near the end of the date at the table, and he says, you don't know what this means yet, but you're everything on the list. And then we had a breathtaking, movie worthy, foot popping, knee shaking kiss at the end of the night. And from the day that we said hello till we said I do, was a year and 3 months exactly. And I have been truly, madly, deeply, incredibly in love and lit up by this man in my life. So That is a bit of our love story.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I loved it.
Yeah, it takes a very special man to take on a woman with 4 small children.
Yeah.
We had 6 between us. We raised them together. We once they were all mostly gone and out the door, we finally had 1 together. So now we have 7. We have Kara, and we have a joyful, beautiful, full, wonderful life.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
so that's our. I couldn't have the couple specialist on without sharing about our couple.
Love it.
One of the things that stood out is that you both called out for guidance, support, a miracle, a person.
We did.
And it was one another.
Mhm.
And the role that your kids played in facilitating an introduction.
And your bravery.
Yeah,
your
huge courage. That's massive.
Yeah, I was very scared, and that was the first and only time I've ever done that.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. My husband says that our energies are just more powerful together, that he's always been with me. He'll always be with me, and he'll always find me, that death can't take our energies from one another, that we're better together. So, and I believe him. I believe him that he'll always find me. So, however many times we come to this planet and give it another try, somehow he'll find me.
That's lovely. Yeah.
So let's talk about the people who come and find you. As they're looking for this beautiful brilliance, joyful light, and bubbly excitement. I remember literally driving away from our dates and out loud squealing for joy like a child on a roller coaster ride in my car, because I had so much pent up that this is amazingly happening to me.
Yeah, I would do the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just like driving away beaming.
Yes.
And giving myself some room to just feel the glow of it. Yeah.
Okay.
But people coming to you are feeling probably stuck or lost or frustrated, or know that there's something here but need guidance to see if they can bring it back to those exciting first date moments in their relationship.
Yeah, the people that come to us they recognize that piece of what can I do. The people who come to us who get the biggest transformations are ready and willing to look at their side of the street. They're the ones that get the real opening, the heart opening, the healing, oh wait, there's another way I can do that. That willingness to try new things is one of our hallmarks for when we have a client come to us, and we really know we can help when they're willing to try new things. And we're a bit obsessed with like trying new things. I love the words right now, like having experiments, being able to try iterations as opposed to everything is good, bad, right, wrong. It's so limited, and there's so many ways of getting excited about things. And one of the biggest first steps in this like, tell me more, how can this be better, how can we be more kind and in flow and in we together, and it's letting it, whatever's happening that does feel stuck or that does feel like, are we really doing this again, where you feel like caught in a loop, is this opening to letting the stages of change be a journey as opposed to another way that you or they have done it wrong. Do you want to know what the 4 stages of change are? Have you heard of this, Jessica?
Sure. No, I'd love for you to share.
Yeah. So it's such a relief that there are more than one stages of change, because so many of us are like,
I've changed or I've not changed.
Yeah, that's it.
Pass, fail.
And then if you changed, knew you should have changed, but didn't change, there's so much blame in the world. Oh, I should have known that. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, why did I do that again? And instead, 4 stages. The first one is to see what you want to change. What's your desire? What else is possible? That in itself, that's why people say, knowing the question is 50% of the answer. Like, it's huge.
And then can I make a first comment on the first thing?
Yeah.
I think that first thing also would apply is finding out from your partner what feels good for them, like what feels like love to them, because sometimes we think we're changing and we're doing all these things, and we're doing all these things to make this other person feel loved because we're showering them in ways that we want to feel loved, but not the way that they actually would feel or receive love. And I had a friend who would get really frustrated because, her past partner would spend all this time on her car, making sure the tires are good, making sure that it was filled up, making sure that it was clean, she didn't care about that at all. And she would just get angry and frustrated. And he thought he was giving her love. And so that first thing is, if we are going to begin to make a change and we want to make things better, and we are going to try to make an effort, I think we need to find out what would change mean to, or what does love feel like or look like from an action standpoint, from the other person.
Yeah. Thank you for slowing me down there. Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because you're sharing, what can I do to make them feel more loved? And I love that. And actually, that stage is often further down the journey, because the first stage is for both partners, for yourself to get really clear on, what do I want? They can't even know what I can give them until they've taken the time to self-reflect what they desire. And so the first way to start that process is to think about it for yourself. And I'm just going to expand one layer to this, which is how much our brain mind patterns and stories run our lives. And what I see, especially with the women, let me know if you see it as much with the men, is that the good girl, wants to do everything right, and then we'll get love. So there's a putting to later. Once I've checked boxes, right? Once I've been pretty enough, thin enough, nice enough, helpful enough, like whatever those lists are, and then we'll be loved. And so part of the shift that my desire, I challenge you that if you think your desire is that I want to be thinner, I challenge audience people, whoever's listening, I challenge you, what will that actually get you? If you think that what you want is a physical manifestation, go a layer deeper. Will that have you feel loved? Will that have you feel confident? Will that have you feel worthy? And then choose to focus instead at that desire. And that is the place to start with yourself in these 4 stages of change. So that could look like, let's pick a relationship thing. I desire to feel cherished in the morning, to feel alive and like in love with my body and this like life force that's moving through it. Okay. And then how do I want to do that? I want to have a morning ritual of stretching and kisses and a little gratitude practice. Okay. So then you know what you're creating. Then you've named this bigger, deeper desire, and you've started an experiment of how you'd like to create it. Okay. So that's just stage 1. The rest of it's a little bit simpler, I promise. So then step 2 is you see where you could have changed after the fact. The mornings you forget. The mornings where you get in a rush or you wake up late. Oh, and always from the energy of discovery, noticing, oh my goodness, I'm in the second stage of change. It's a win that I saw after the fact where I could have changed. And then the third stage of change is in the moment, seeing the thing, but you just can't change yet. Maybe one of the things you're changing is speaking with the most loving tone, even if you're upset. Oh, I saw it in the moment and I couldn't quite do it yet. And then the fourth stage of change, in the moment, see the thing and do the thing. And it's not a one and done. It's a 1 4 2 2 2 2 2 2 4 3 4 3 4 1 4. And that gives so much kindness and open-heartedness to yourself that it's a discovery, it's a journey, it's an experiment, it's a evolution, it's a path, as opposed to did I get there or not get there. It's not the destination, it's the journey. You've got something.
So we teach this amongst other things, and we have 2 programs, and the first one is called Relationship Alchemy, and it's more focused on the self, relationship with oneself, and ways to do this kind of work, to befriend your nervous system, to be able to spend time with your nervous system, with your desires, to really know yourself and be with yourself in a healthy, explorative way.
If relationship is a garden, you've got to till that soil, you got to put in the fertilizer, you've got to buy your seeds, you've got to get all your equipment.
Yeah. And then the second program is called the Soulful Couple, and it's one or both partners in a relationship to continue that work. And there's also in both programs there's mindset and embodiment work, and in the Soulful Couple there's more tools and perspectives that really help couples create the fabulous relationships that we're talking about, the relationship agreements, amongst other things, communication skills, relationship paradigms that you can forget and then return back to because they work, and life is full and complicated. As you know, there's different seasons, different eras to a long-term relationship. They can require different tools, returning to tools, new agreements.
And one of the things that we're really excited about, that we really don't hear anyone else talking about, is we hear people talking about trauma and embodiment, and we believe that there is healing that can be done directly on the places in your body that are holding your relationship hurts. And we have this incredible process, we call it Heal Your Love Story, and it's literally having God Force, pure source energy come in, and you can just receive, you can just let your body receive the exact energy it needs to help recalibrate, to heal, to repattern, so that your heart can be open. If you are in fear or in resentment, the soil is not fertile. And so to cleanse that, those weeds and those heavy metals with pure source energy is like getting to have a swim in the ocean. It just lets everything release so that you can let in the new relationship connection that you're looking for.
I love that. And so you're working with people in group, in virtual, and one-on-one, and workshops. So there's lots of different ways for people to come in, or talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, what we love is hybrid. So our programs, the Relationship Alchemy is group, plus we have this incredible library of trainings. So you get support in the group calls with the trainings as you practice them in your life. And then with the Soulful Couple, it's a little bit more robust. So you would also get the trainings and the group calls, but also the one-on-one. I find that when you're one-on-one or two-on-one or 4 altogether. So we really want to be available to what the couple needs. And sometimes They want more of a masculine presence. Sometimes they want everyone together so they can practice certain things. And we love that flexibility of having it be both of us. It makes it a really rich buffet to be able to choose for exactly what the client wants. And we've done lots of workshops. We love doing workshops. We're currently we're brainstorming our next one that we're going to be offering, as well as in person. We have been more amazing in-person Toronto spaces and around Ontario to be doing more in person. We are gearing up to start planning our first retreat.
Yeah.
So very excited.
Yeah, I have a real yearning for in-person work.
Well, I'm a sales and marketing expert, and my instinct and my gut says, oh, now, if you're seasick, then this is not a good suggestion. But I bet
seasick.
If you get seasick, then it's not a good suggestion. But I bet that the cruise ships would hire you to do a program as part, they hire they hire musicians and singers and things. But wouldn't it be fascinating to do something that was both entertaining but also kind of a healing exercise with live volunteers from the audience? I mean, I think it could be fun and could be done. I don't know. I'm just saying. And wouldn't it be fabulous to be both paid and on a cruise ship somewhere?
I have had that happen in my past life. I was a I am still a classical cellist. So I have been paid to do some pretty amazing things, and I highly recommend. It's so fun.
Well, and music could be incorporated in that, because music is such a healing, beautiful thing, and it also brings out feelings and help people identify feelings. How does this music make you feel? And now turn and say that to your partner at the table. Like, there's some fun things I bet they used to do that would get you in person the way you want, but also bring this beautiful thing to couples who sometimes go on trips thinking, well, if we go on this cruise, maybe our relationship will be better. You're in front of your target audience for sure. I'm just going to tell you.
And bringing in the music has been this wonderful. I mean, I'm used to classical world I'm used to being purely acoustic, and so it's something I'm really leaning into to start learning. I want to start looping and having like incredible like soundscapes that I create, and I think it would be a huge boon to the experience, because there's so much music can touch, literally vibrations, literally the harmony of the spheres is present.
It shifts the side of your brain that you're thinking with, so that you can get more in touch with your feeling, right? Music has that impact on us. And what I want to say to you guys out there is, when you work with a couple like this and you go through this change habit, and I love that she stayed on number two, because I've been, I occasionally, for different things in my life that I'm working on transitioning, tap that 2 button too many times. But
no, hang on, I have to stop you there, Jessica. No, this is the game. You have to cheer yourself. Yes, I'm on stage 2 of the Stage of Change, because then you're encouraging yourself to keep going. Otherwise, it's all blame and shame, and we don't do that here. No.
All right. I'm pinging that one sound piano, and I really like to play a few other notes here.
There you go.
The point is that beautiful final note, that number 4, when you've come through the loop, when you set up these couple practices, they become this most beautiful habitual, ritualistic. You don't think about, okay, wait, did you feel the breath coming in and out of your nose at this moment? Did you feel the sensation of the tingling from? You don't think about that every second. And it's good to stop and focus on it, because that gives us other benefits. But the other thing is, it's nice that we just breathe, because air is not optional. And we do that anyway. Well, those little things become like, my husband does not leave or come home without kissing me. That is the first thing. He seeks me out. What room is she in? Where is she? I've come home. I've come to kiss him. And I always say welcome home to him, because I always want him to feel welcomed and want to come home, and we play a 3 things game almost all the time, and tell each other 3 amazing things we love about one another. We've done it so much that the children have started doing it with us too, and we tell them 3 things we love about them. But we have always done it when we're super close and private and intimate, right? At that moment, right? When you're in this glow and you don't know where one begins and the other ends. We have made it a rule. We tell each other 3 things we love about each other. And it makes you feel cherished and adored and loved. And we hysterically, because there's an occasion we've dozed off, but as we woke back up, then we would just turn to each other and start saying the 3 things because it is like ingrained in your humanness. And there's one time in 26 years when we left each other and didn't kiss. And, he called me. It's a true story. It's raining. He had to go one way. I had to go another. He called me and said, "Where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm headed here for this." He said, "Okay, we'll turn around. We'll meet halfway here on the side of the road." And we did. We turned around and met each other halfway in the rain. And let me just talk about another movie, Kiss.
Yeah.
That was thrilling. And it made me feel like the most cherished, beautiful, needed, valuable woman on the planet, because he was going to be late for his thing, but it was more important for him to have me in his arms and have me kissing him before he set off for whatever his task was that day.
Yeah.
And they just become part of who you are. That's who we are.
Yeah.
And I loved you talking about separating I from the we, because we recently wrote an affirmation together, pieces he had heard on different programs, pieces I had heard, things we'd made up together. We came together, and every time I read them, I'm supposed to say my and I, but I always hear in my mind we, when I'm reading our beautiful affirmation out, that I know he's out there reading, and we sometimes say it together too, but we say it throughout the day many times, knowing that the other person is out there saying it too. And we feel like energy, it's not a feel, it's a scientific fact that when you multiply your energies, it is more powerful. Yeah. And so we are more powerful together in everything we do. So
we are greater than the sum of our parts.
Okay. Well, the longest interview in history. I am going to move on to, we need a tip. That we have only give you 500 of them, but I need a very specific tip for the day. So what is something they could do today that would make their relationship with themselves, with their partner, beautiful and wonderful?
I've got one. Do you have one?
Go ahead.
You go ahead. I've gone first.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up first.
Yeah. Something they can do immediately is what you were just talking about. Is one of the things that we teach. It's to sit down together and think through your day from morning to night of at least 3 touch points that would feel really fantastic. How would I wake up feeling loved and cherished? Yeah. Fantastic to experience. And you both get to do it. And can we do that for each other when we wake up? And there might be some yeses and nos, and like, okay, so then if that's a no, then da da da. And what would feel marvelous in the middle of the day, whether we're in the same house together or in separate workplaces, maybe it's a quick call, maybe it's a voice message, maybe it's a text. Maybe you send the text and I receive it because it doesn't matter to you. When I come home, what's that greeting like? How do you want to be greeted? How do I want to be greeted? And to have this conversation from an open heart, make a date, if you wish. How do we want to, because when we say goodnight, we're also saying goodbye for a few hours, even if we're sleeping in the same bed. We're going into our separate dream spaces. So is it a kiss? Is it a hug? Is it a good night? Is it all of those things?
Three things I love about you.
Again, these moments that really create our life, and to take care of these moments. So that's a long tip, but it's worth it, and it becomes who you are, as you so beautifully said.
It does become who you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mine is trust yourself to go slow, to go fast. Get in the habit of connecting with what's true for you right in this moment. The feminine is the truth of the moment. don't step over it to get to what you think is out there. So I can't tell you how many times I can feel his energy rushing for something, and it actually has us take longer because I want him here right now. I want him here now, and then I can relax. And it's the same for you with yourself. It's the same for you with your business. Your intuition and your wisdom comes in when you're with yourself, not when you're rushing to the next thing.
Yeah.
I think that's funny because I know that when we have to, like, so we're a travel soccer family. We have a 14-year-old who is a brilliant soccer player and makes a million goals, and we're so proud of her. And we are obsessed with, like, one of our greatest joys is watching our kid play soccer. Like, we're in it, you know. We are those ridiculous parents. And anyway, that means there's a lot of journey and travel for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the name, right? Travel soccer.
Yeah.
And I know that what he wants more than anything is to get there, because when he gets there, then he can relax.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm about, hey, we're gonna have this great journey. Where are we going? What roads are we taking? Is there somewhere we can stop along the way? What can we see? What else is there to
Yeah.
do? And he's like, no, we just gotta get there. And so I've also tapped into things that I know he loves. Like, I make sure I have the Pandora radio station that he likes on my phone, and I choose a couple of audiobooks that we both like so that we can talk about those. And I pre-mentally remind him he's with two girls who may need to stop without notice to the ladies' room, and we're very picky about which one that might be. That gas station,
No.
that one, we'll use that one. So he's already equipped with being pre-prepared for, expect this bump may occur on the journey.
Yeah.
So I think expectation and communication really keep the majority of challenges out of the soup, right? You
That's
know?
one point. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we know what's happening. I know what's happening. But if
Mhm.
I get to explain it, communicate it, yeah, it can get
I have to share one more funny story
yeah.
because my gallant husband is so amazing. He used to get so frustrated that I would always come unprepared. Like, he knew it was going to get cool, so he'd bring a jacket. And of course, he's not going to let me sit there and freeze. He's giving me his jacket. He hates being cold, right? Or he makes sure he has a travel drink or an extra pair of glasses or whatever it is he needs, right? And so he started to realize, he said, it took me about 5 years into our marriage to decide, okay, Jessica's not going to remember her jacket. I'm going to grab her jacket for her. Jessica's not going to remember a drink. I'm going to make sure I have an extra drink for her.
Yeah.
So all the things that he was giving me out of love because he didn't want his wife to be without them, he just made sure we're part of the routine and in the car on the way out the door.
Yeah.
That's so thoughtful.
That's such simple, zero judgment. What
Yeah.
works? I love just what works.
Yeah, so he's not frustrated anymore. He still gets to be warm, and he goes, "Oh, I have your jacket in the car, honey. I'll be right back with it."
That's a win right there.
That's a win.
Love
It
it.
is a win-win. And these things are really, like we say, like low lift.
They're simple.
They take a little bit of thought and a little bit of effort, and it's. I have a bit of a date night ramp. Like, a date night in and of itself isn't a fix for a relationship.
Rant. I thought you said ramp.
Rant isn't a fix for a relationship that's not working. It can, it can help a little bit, but these like thoughtful moments are really where it's at, creating those over and over.
Date nights are the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he said ramp, a date night ramp.
That's what I thought
so
he said.
Maybe
Anyway, it doesn't matter, because the other thing that could go wrong here, that could be, he could resent. Well, why can't she get? She's a grown woman.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Get herself her germ jacket. Get herself. But he's decided these are my love actions, and I have decided to. I mean, not in an ungenuine way, but in a very genuine way. I am grateful. I am appreciative. I thank, it's like when, when you're working with your children, when you want more of one specific behavior, how are you going to reward it? And so
Yeah.
we genuinely appreciate one another. And
Yeah.
and I do, and it may just sound like I'm needy and helpless, but I do very special things for him too, just on another a topic and other ways. Like, so
But
this wouldn't work for you, Matt, but he hates to go to get his hair cut. And so I cut his hair.
yeah.
But you're exactly it. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's what makes it
Yeah.
low lift.
Yeah.
If he was
keep going.
okay,
Yeah.
if he was resenting it, it would be a very high lift indeed. It would be a tax that would last for that would actually start making the relationship carpet very lumpy. And you also are helping make it low lift by being grateful, because I can imagine a woman being maybe in self-blame or feeling like, I don't know. Yeah, self-blame is the one that comes up. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I did it again. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It like you figured out this wonderful path where it gets to be another way.
No, I lean in and whisper in his ear, and I pull my jacket around me. I say things like, "My coat's so much warmer because you brought it to me." And I kiss his neck and just little things, and he just beams like, like I am the master of the universe. I have done all things right. Yes, I am it, and that is it. He is it, and in my world, he is master of the universe. So, well, you know what I mean. But so it's a lovely way to bask in caring for each other. And when he cares for me physically, I care for him emotionally, and then I have other ways I care for him physically, and then he feels the emotional love. And so it's just you just find your roundabouts that work.
You do. It's wonderful.
All right, well, tip. Okay, now what about a nonprofit cause close to your heart?
Yeah, do we share already? So it's the Clan Mothers. We found this incredible charity called the Clan Mothers, and they're supporting Indigenous people and Two-Spirit people to be their fully expressed selves. And we just think that's so much Indigenous wisdom that we want to support and have be more present. If we could all just listen to the original peoples and cultures, they have so much presence and wisdom and knowledge and magic that we could do well to learn from.
One of the things I love about it is that it's re-establishing, re-emphasizing the matriarchal line in their communities, in their teaching, in their sharing of wisdom, and that feels essential to me in where we are in our world,
reorienting our world.
Reorienting, and that feels like such a sort of incredible grounded value.
Well, and it speaks to me because isn't that what legacy is too? It's the stories of our history. It is the stories of the world's evolution and culture. It's the stories of just the great leaps we have made in humanity, and the great leaps we have yet to come. And how do we inspire those coming forward to continue to take those leaps with bravery and courage and love and joy, joyfully leaping right beyond the barriers of so many things that so many still struggle with. Right, there are so many that I'm so happy to say I live in a world. There are so many that love because we're all equal humans, and it doesn't matter what country you're from, or if you're pink or polka dotted or or blue. The Blue Man Group, gotta love them, or Smurf for that matter. As long as you're a human being and you're kind and loving, then then you're my people. And one of the other things I wanted to say earlier that I didn't mention, and I think it's so important. It's something I learned from my husband. Is when someone is struggling, right, and someone is having a moment, whether it's your partner or your children or someone in the grocery line, when they deserve it the least and they're having their biggest challenge, that's when they need it the most. So, just love on people when, sometimes our cup is fuller and we are able to give that joy and that love and that kindness. and you'd be surprised the turnaround that it has. You know,
Yeah.
often we talk about being in that cycle, and it's like feeling like you're in a wash machine or in a dryer that is, can we ever get off this wheel? And you know, when someone's, even especially if it's your person and they're unkind to you, and the very next thing you do for them is something really amazingly wonderful, you know, you don't want them to feel like they don't deserve it, but maybe they deserve it the most, or they need it the
Yeah.
most, at least at that moment. And that's a new way to love people, and that is something my husband taught me with the great gentleness and love he's given me. When I'm the most difficult to love, he loves me the most,
No.
because I need it the most.
I'm so glad you shared that. Beautiful and essential and huge, especially right now in the world.
Yeah, so you know, even when they don't see your heart or know you, having a rough day,
Yeah.
love them anyway. I did a
Yeah.
whole post on that. Love them anyway.
Yeah.
Books that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business.
Yeah, just quickly, because I know we're
I know we are the marathon show of all
like
time.
we're a telethon now. Mine's
We are.
the joy.
I could talk to you guys forever is the problem.
I know. I'm loving
Loving
this.
it. So my book is The Joy Diet by Martha Beck. It was the book that taught me how to meditate. It's a bit of a cheesy title, but she has been an ongoing, she's my favorite life coach. Cannot recommend this brilliant, beautiful weirdo enough. And yeah, how to have more joy in your life. And it includes all the things we've talked about today, but it started with teaching me how to meditate, and it's been a game changer.
I love that. How about you, Matt?
Mine is a book called Us, The Journey from Me to We. It's written by a very, very incredible, smart man called Terry Real, Real, who's a family psychotherapist and founder of relational life therapy, which is an approach to therapy that I'm training in and have done some training. He's an incredibly wise man. I think he's in his 70s or older now, but he's a shit disturber, rebel. Sorry, that's the second time I've sworn. I'm sorry.
I heard shift. That's what I heard.
He is a shift.
He is a shift maker.
That's what I heard.
And he talks with great wisdom about the patriarchy, and its influence, impact on relationships,
Men
and the undoing of the influence of patriarchy, the benefit of the undoing of it on relationships. It's a really great book, incredible stories about the journeys of couples, and some tips and insights as well.
Yeah, we use his work all the time in our work. It's brilliant.
You guys ever get a chance to listen to audiobooks together or do a book together? Because there's a really great one that was written, it's based on a book that was written 100 years ago. There's a guy named Charles Haanel. Do you know Charles Haanel?
No.
He wrote the Master Key System, and he inspired Napoleon Hill's work with the Think and Grow Rich. But his book was redone by 3 authors, and his book is actually very spiritual. And there's a new meditation process I'm learning from it that is the most beautiful. And I've done a lot of different ones. And the book is called Tapping the Source. And they honor Charles Haanel's 5 master keys as the foundation. But it all comes to I personally believe I am one with God, and that God is love, and so I'm one with God, and that union is always there. However, when I meditate, I am more receptive to feeling that union and that communion I have with God. And when I'm more receptive receiving what messages and things he has for me. And they go through this process in a really interesting way. And Hanel was actually very financially well off and wealthy, and he attributes all of this to this time with Creator, and making his life about how he serves others. And that has brought in everything for him. But the beginning part of the tapping the source meditation process is a statement that says, I choose to focus enjoyably inward. And that's like the first step of moving through the meditation. I just think that, Karina, you'll very much I think you'll both really appreciate it. It's a
Thank
really good book.
I love it.
Um, and it was inspired by a legacy, which makes me light up that over 100 years ago, this person is now having an impact, you know, on my moment in union with Creator. I just think what can be more beautiful than that? Which is why I'm the canary constantly singing, create your legacy today to inspire those for tomorrow. Speaking of, you have been in a book, Karina, right? You've
Yes, mission accepted. 262 women. It was such a beautiful project by Deb Drummond. And I just had a blast writing about music and about this guy and all the places that it's just a little chapter, but I love how relationship and vibration and music and harmony all weave together. So I think there's a link somewhere here if you want to check it out. It's a beautiful collection of incredible women having big missions in the world. It's really fun.
Before we move on to our final and closing thought, can you believe it? Yes, one day we might end this interview. I don't know. So is there anything else about your program or yourselves that you want to share before we move into that last space?
We're very excited about this, what we feel like is a place where sometimes one person in the couple is ready to start working first. And there is so much that can shift by just one person shifting themselves. So we love that we've created these two pillars that weave together. And so it's never too late. Relationship is a path. You can start on your own, and of course it's wonderful, and we would invite your partner to come at some point in the journey if they're ready for right at the beginning. It is a completely non-judgmental space. I promise you, we've been there with whatever you're going through, and the gifts are just so huge. Like the Japanese say, the best time to plant a tree is 40 years ago or today. So we might be the perfect people for you. You might end up choosing other people, but start. If you feel this ache in your heart, like you're meant for more, your relationship has more love to hold, reach out. We'll help have an assessment. We've just made a cute little adorable amazing quiz that can be a great place, easy, low lift place to start. Start looking, let yourself be a seeker, let yourself ask and want more. It is waiting. It is wanting that for you. The world wants that for you too. Let it come. Start reaching out. It's such a beautiful gift when things start to flow and your heart feels all the love.
And I want them to know that they're always worthy of a healthy, loving, safe, relationship, and making sure that you're safe is huge. And if you don't have that, there's a lot of resources for that as well, since we are talking about relationships now. Before we move on to our final thought, I am going to say one last thing. Hey, if you're out there and you're thinking, wait, I wrote a book, I've got a program, I do things to make people's lives wonderful, their businesses grow, and boom, I should be on that Profound Professional show. Well, come on, what are you waiting for? Reach out to us and our team, and we will get you right on the show. Don't worry, I'm not going to let them go without one loving, amazing, inspirational, informational, beautiful final thought. And we need to make sure we get one from both of you, because poor Matt, I think if we did an analysis of the show, his words were powerful, impactful, and way fewer than ours.
That can sometimes be the case.
It's just how it is. Just how it is.
All right, give us a final thought.
Final thought. I want to just revisit the relationship as a path, because that was a paradigm changer, a life changer for me. Instead of a relationship belief that it either works or it doesn't, it's relationship as a path to growth and development and healing.
That's right.
Pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening and what there is for you to learn in your relationship. And I'm not saying stay in a relationship that isn't working and it is painful forever. Your journey might be understanding, oh, it's time to leave. This relationship has run its course, and I need to find my courage in order to leave the relationship. Or it might be um, I actually need to know how to calm my nervous system more, so I don't react so angrily, so that we can have more connection and more intimacy. So, considering your relationship as a path.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
And mine is you're not broken. You're
Mm.
not broken. We are always whole. And we are little human beings on a rock hurtling through space having an experience. It's an experience, an experience, it's an experience, and you can choose afresh right now. It's not good, bad, right, wrong. You are whole, you are worthy. You get to have more love if you want it. And you just have to say yes and start looking. It's there for you.
I love that, and I hope you're okay with it, but I'm gonna share one small final story because choosing, we do get to choose,
Yeah.
and we choose so many things every day. And this is a true story. Very early into our marriage, just a few years in, we were still figuring everything out, still, you know, on some level, but joyfully so. And it was pouring, and it was late at night, and I hadn't heard from him. And this is not like him. We would touch base many times a day. We would text, we would call. The phone had gone to voicemail for hours. I was, God, I can't even talk about it. But I was beside myself. Something had happened to this man that I love. And I knelt by the window watching the pouring rain, not knowing, like, there was no way. He doesn't go to a job. He goes to many projects, and he's working many places. And I didn't have a way to reach that client or know where that what I really had absolutely nowhere to start in a look for where is this amazing person that I love. Where has he gone? And the weather was getting worse and worse. And I knelt by the window, and I prayed, and I promise that, and now we're gonna laugh a little, but it's true. I promise that I looked to the side of me, and his pair of socks were on the living room floor. And I um, I had just come down from the restroom upstairs, and his tiny little hairs from his beard were all over the sink. And this is the promise that I made God, that I said, you know, just bring him home. And whenever I see his socks on the floor or his tiny little hairs on the sink, the joy from me will beam, and everyone on the planet will see it. And you know, he did come home, of course, but to this day, I actually do find joy when he throws his socks on the floor in the living room, and I do find joy in it because it means he's still here. He's still here with me. I still get to have him, you know? And one of the other things he also taught me was to my perspective is, you know, one of the days I did say, when I was working for someone else, I have to go to work. And he said, no, you get to go to work. We get to have that benefit of that income and your brilliance and the way you serve others. And so we get to choose. We get to choose to be madly in love with the socks on the floor in the living room and the tiny hairs on the bathroom sink, because they mean that amazing human is still a part of every day of your life. And so I had to share that my last silly story.
Oh, it's
So
very useful.
you know, and this is what occurs, I think, when you step into loving yourself, having that bond with whatever your spiritual space is, and then it glows and overflows into the love of your life and into your children, and the children get to witness and watch that. How beautiful is that? There's just so much benefit from spending time working on this piece of your life. I think people are the reason we're on the planet to begin with. People matter most, and humans is why we're here. So, I want to thank you both for being on our show, Profound Professionals. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
So much.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Really wonderful.
Okay, everybody out there, until the next time, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This is Profound Professionals. Be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.